forthcoming. That's what they say. But then at the same time, they say that in their religion, that you can only have sex in marriage, and then anyone else, it's a woman that's okay to be raped, and that includes underage women. I'm sorry, but that is a disgusting cult.
The Sharia is clear on this. You guys, all I can do is quote the Sharia. If you guys want to have it, I think your last point is excellent. There's no age limit to them having sex with little girls, according to the Sharia. There's no such thing as puberty in the Sharia. It doesn't exist. And like I said before, the Sharia is kind of funny. It says that you should not murder anyone without at least offering them Islam. But if you do murder them and you take their property, there's absolutely no penalty for doing that, for that which would normally protect them is not in them. They're kafirs. You're allowed to murder them. The Sharia literally says that.
Actually, even according to the Quran, verse Surah 9:29, it says, fight whoever is not believing in Allah and Muhammad and his prophets, and so it says, if you're not Muslim, I'm gonna fight you.
Right.
And even, by the way, in their book it says that Allah gave this land to the Jews, Surah 5:20 and 21, that this land was given to Moses and Israel, Israelites. But every time they're gonna deny it.
Exactly. And here's another defeater. On this one, you just use the Quran. Have them show you in the Quran where Ishmael.
Randy, can you please just mute yourself? It's a bit loud.
I'm sorry, I didn't know I was unmuted. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. Have them show you in the Quran where Ishmael's the ancestor. I need to see that.
Oh, I've never.
No.
Heard. No.
Ishmael is not the ancestor of Arabs according to the Quran. If you use the Quran, it makes it. If you study the Quran closely, I don't have time to go into this, but the Quran is very clear that Ishmael and Abraham are not ancestors to the Arabs. They were never sent to the Arabs. They were never sent to Mecca. They were sent to Jerusalem, which is Baka. The Quran mentions Baka, which is in Jerusalem, and it mentions Mecca. It never says they never said Ishmael went to Mecca. They said he went to Baka to set up his house of prayer. That's in Jerusalem. And the reason why the Quran is very clear that Ishmael and Abraham are not ancestors of the Arabs. They were never sent to them, according to the Quran itself. Forget the Hadith. The Quran is quite clear on this, you see. And that's the point I've debated tens of thousands. I've asked tens of thousands of Muslims on this point. There's no answer. I'm still waiting for them to answer on this
also,
point.
every time I'm asking them, they said that this land belongs to them, and every time they're mentioning Jerusalem and Al-Aqsa Mosque. And then, I'm asking, first of all, Jerusalem is not really mentioned in the Quran. Second of all, Al-Aqsa Mosque was built 80 years after Muhammad died. So what connection do you have here? And they can't answer that.
I'm going to make two more excellent points on top of your excellent point. The prophetic lineage in the Quran is Isaac and Jacob. It's not anybody else but Isaac and Jacob, which means that Isaac, according to the Quran, is the child of promise. Okay, not Ishmael. Ishmael, even though he's called a prophet and a messenger in the Quran, which disqualifies him from being an ancestor to the Arabs, because the Quran says that before Muhammad, the Arabs never had a prophet. They never had a book of Revelation. But since Ishmael he was a prophet with a book in Revelation, and he was obviously not sent to the Arabs. Okay, but the people that's mentioned in the prophetic lineage, the main prophetic lineage, are the Jewish people. Okay, and Ishmael was not included in that lineage. This is why all the earliest scholars of Islam, including the companions of their prophet Muhammad, stated that the child of promise was Isaac and not Ishmael. Ishmael has nothing to do with this, you see. And here's my other position. Even after 70 AD, there were always Jewish people living in Israel. Jewish people have always lived in Israel for thousands of years. So, it's not like the place was completely desolated and then the Arabs occupied it. No. The Jews were always there, but they were being invaded by the Arabs. Just like they invaded Egypt.
Actually, the interesting thing is that, after the Romans pushed Jews to diaspora during the 130 AD, the Arabs, they lived here, but they never had governing over this region or a kingdom or sovereignty or whatever. It was always by the Romans, the Byzantines,
Exactly.
So,
yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I wish we had someone else on the other side of the fence,
in my opinion,
defending this, but nobody is here.
So if they were here, first of all, you guys are so rational and so calm as you speak to each other. I'm not trying to kiss up to you, but it's a pleasure to hear you. It's a pleasure to hear you. You're not insulting Muslims. You're not cursing them. You're not calling them liars. To go in their rooms is to be triggered immediately by the lack of grace. And that's all I want to say. It's a pleasure to hear you guys. Keep talking. I'm learning. Okay?
Thank you. By the way, that's why I always open that's why I usually did it in Oculus in the VR rooms. And I was introduced to this app by Nathan, yesterday. So I went to one of the rooms, but you can't talk there. They're over talking you. They don't let you make your point. If I have someone else on the other side of the fence here,
they bully
me, yeah.
They insult. But you now go ahead.
No, I just want to say I also go on Omi TV. If anybody knows, it's like a random chat of 1v1. I'm trying to have debate there, which is very unique to find some normal person to talk to, because every time they see the Israeli flag on the bottom, because it shows which country you're from, every time they say, fuck you, go fuck yourself, I wish you die, blah, 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 etc. Free Palestine, whatever. And then they say free Palestine, and ask them as a Jew, hey, where? If it's free, I'm going to take it. I'm a Jew. But never mind.
No, this is free Gaza. But no, I want to get in a sentence. I'm sorry. I forgot what I want to say very quickly is that I learned a new concept today, this Hiyal. And now it explains their behavior. Because in that room, yes, I looked it up, Hiyal and Tekiya, this disinformation that is religiously allowed. This explains the complete denial of reality. That's all I want to say. So in other words, they don't even believe it. They don't even believe it. They know that they're lying, right?
I'm going to go ahead and post a link of EL.
They're all in on it together, right? It's like wink, wink, nudge, nudge, right? Is that what's going on here? Like a wink, wink, nudge, nudge?
Exactly. That's what's happening.
You know what?
Thanks, guys. God bless you.
Thank you. By the way, what's insane is that, they say we came, conquered, whatever. We didn't. But sure. But we immigrated here legally. And there was, I think, 7 peace offers to the Arabs. They could have their own country 7 times. So the 1937 Peel Commission, they could have had 80% of the land. They said, no, everything is ours. 47, you had the UN partition plan. You had the 67, you had the Oslo Accords in the 90s, you had the Camp David in 2000, 2005 we gave them the Gaza Strip, you had the 2008, the Olmert offer, which we offered them 96% of what they asked in the West Bank and Gaza Strip. The 4% was should have stayed for security after the first and the second Intifada, obviously, and we also offered to redeem them, give them money compensation for those 4%, and they rejected it.
Right. You know why they rejected it?
Oh, because they don't want Israel as a country. They're not going to recognize it.
What did Zachar Bosin say?
Do you know why they rejected it?
Go ahead.
Let me tell you.
Do you know who Zachar Bosin is?
The ultimate goal in Islam is the extermination of all Jews. Muhammad stated this. In order for them to have their resurrection day, when they get all their prostitutes in their little paradise. All the Jews must be exterminated from that resurrection day to come. You see, so the Jews, the position of the Palestinian Arabs is simply this here. They were never interested in the land. That's again some more of that EL. They don't want the Jews, like they said, we don't want you to leave. That way we don't have to hunt you down. They want the Jews to stay there. That way they don't have to hunt them down.
Yeah, but the Christians are just as bad.
Well, I'm not here. I'm here to focus on Islam. I mean, I'm not trying to deflect. When you say just as bad, there's nothing in the words of Jesus that requires the extermination of all
What do
Jews.
the Catholics do? How many
Again,
Jews were slaughtered?
if you're going to say that the Catholics are as bad as the Muslims, then I'm going to have to leave. I mean, seriously.
Listen,
It's true.
no, not historically. You can point to bad things, but today is the 21st century, and they are not the same.
In other words, you see the
Listen,
difference.
I mean, I've come across millions of Christians that hate Jews.
The difference is that people do despicable things. I'm not going to defend. I'm not focused on people here. Believe it or not, I'm focused on sacred writings. The Sharia is the sacred writings of Islam. It has a higher authority than the Quran itself.
What does the New Testament say about Jews?
The Quran, okay? I'm quoting the Quran, I'm quoting the Hadith, I'm quoting their sacred writings.
Yaakov,
Granted,
I really don't want to turn this into an anti-Christian room. I do not want to.
Because if we're going to legitimize Islam by attacking Christians, I got to go. I mean, seriously.
Well, no, I'm just saying that
I'm on you guys' side.
Christians
I'm
can't
a Catholic,
attack Islam because Christians are just as bad.
Again,
We've already said that they're not. It's a fact that they're not just as bad.
Not today. You know what the difference is?
Come on, man. It's the present.
Hold on. King, guys, let's organize it. Hold on. King, let Nathan, hold on, reply.
Yeah, let me just reply to this. Yaakov, listen, the thing is with Christianity, it's different than Islam. Yes, of course, Christianity, medieval Christianity, especially with the Catholic Church, no offense, King, but this is just kind of history at
No
this
problem.
point.
I don't have any problem with that. Go ahead.
Yeah, with the Inquisition and stuff like that. The thing is that, sure, the New Testament can be a little bit unfavorable, like Matthew 23, John 8. I get that. Jesus is rebuking the Pharisees and when he talks about the Jews, I get that. But really, where a lot of it was coming from was the writings of some of the early church fathers and like even Martin Luther as well. That's where they were getting a lot of this rhetoric. But the thing is with Christianity is that it went through reforms. I'm not talking about just the Protestant Reformation, but I'm talking about Vatican II as an example. That was a really big.
Also, yeah.
That was a big reform in terms of how the Catholic position is with Jews, Muslims, and basically the other faiths, right? And so that became, ever since really the 60s, I would say, well, even before that, but let's just say the 60s, at least from a Catholic standpoint, was when there was because the Catholic Church didn't even want to recognize Israel because Justin Martyr and I believe Ignatius once said that the Jews will never come back to the land, that they will be cursed to wander the world, for they will be an example to the world to see what would happen to a nation if they reject the Lord, right? But clearly the Catholic Church didn't want to go against what because the church fathers are not infallible, right? They're not the magisterium, they can make mistakes sometimes, right? So they didn't want to admit that their early church fathers were wrong about certain things, right? When it came to their assessment of the Jews and them coming back to the land.
Like they found the Talmud, didn't they?
What's that?
They found the Talmud in the 1400s, didn't they?
Yeah, they didn't like the Talmud. Yeah, but they didn't like the Talmud because they relied on us for the
contradicted their scripture. That's what it did, right?
Not even just that. They hated the fact that they had to come for us to a calendar. That's why.
Didn't the Talmud call the Virgin Mary a prostitute?
It said that she had an adulterous relationship with a Roman soldier.
So my point is that the Talmud is not sacred writing, okay?
Well, nor is the
a
New
lot
Testament.
of what these people might have done. Well, okay, you're missing my point. It's sacred writing to the Christian, okay? That's my point.
But Jesus was a Jew. He wasn't a Christian, so it doesn't make sense.
Are you going to keep cutting me off? Because I got to go. The Sharia is their sacred writing. It's eternal. It's not reformable. That's the problem. That's why the gentleman brought up an excellent point. It doesn't matter what happened in the past with some crazy people. That's reformable. The Sharia is not reformable. The Sharia states it's not reformable. It's eternal. It must be followed. It cannot be superseded. It cannot be annulled. It is forever. That's your problem. Anything Muhammad says is eternal. Jesus didn't say exterminate the Jews. Muhammad did. So to try to lighten up the situation by saying, oh, everybody's bad, religion is bad. No, that's not true. People are bad. I'm focused on the sacred writings. Okay,
well, what secrets? But hang on, you're not the warrior.
So you got a problem with Islam is their doctrines of exterminating you, legally murdering you, that's eternal. That is not reformable. They will always try to murder you. That's my point. And they are required to lie and deceive you. These are the eternal rulings of the Sharia.
But you could lie, deceive, and repent and get away with it. What's Paul say? If we have an advocate, so you're just as bad, but you're just trying to be.
Really, just as bad. Really.
Yeah.
Really.
Guys, hold on. Let's divert from religion for a second.
Christians, and you want to justify Islam by bashing Christians. I can't take.
No. I'm not Muslim. So no, I'm not Muslim.
You are insulting. I know. Look, I don't even want to go there. I'm trying to be respectable.
Yeah, but you're not being respectful. First, you said the Talmud. You said the Talmud is not. You said the Talmud was not scripture. No, hang on, mate. This isn't the King Baldwin show, mate. The King Leopard. Like, you know what I mean? The point is, you said the Talmud was not scripture. You said it's not, right? So I'm telling you, point blank.
Is it scripture?
You have a warped idea of religion because you believe a Jewish man is God.
Okay, man,
listen.
You kind of changed the tenor of the room. I'll be blunt. You've changed the tenor and the tone of the room. And you've come in a bit,
And this dude attacking my religion.
Yeah. Guys, exactly.
You don't care what I say? Well, you confirm it even more. Bye-bye, guy. Now I'm going to take off, okay? I learned a lot today. Yaakov wants to change, wants to make it the Yaakov show, and I'm checking out.
No, I want to ask something, Yaakov. Thank you, Randy. Yaakov, I have a question. That's because we diverged from the subject of the room. What's your opinion on the subject, like Israel and the Palestinians?
Like, I believe there is no Palestine. Like I said, Zahir Mohsen said there is no Palestine. It's the northern Syrian kingdom. He says there's no Palestinian people. They're Jordanian and Lebanese refugees. So it's clear there's no Palestine. So what this Christian guy was trying to do, he was trying to put all the harm. When who renamed it Palestine? Whose fault is it? It's Palestine, the Romans. And what were the Romans? Christians. So it boils down all to that.
Okay. I understand your point.
The Romans named that land Syria, Palestina long before they were Christians.
No. Because in the Testament, in the New Testament, it says the Roman centurion, so this is before 70 AD, said...
Right, so before there were any Christians.
I see more
before there were any Christians, Yaakov, just a point of history. The Romans didn't become Christians until the 4th century.
No, that's the majority. Now, if we look at the Bible...
No, Yaakov, you're wrong on the modest historical point. Yes, you are. The Romans, when they named that territory, Syria, Palestina, they were not yet Christians.
Well, no,
modest point of history.
So if we go,
you're incorrect. You're incorrect.
If we go to the Bible, I could show you a verse which disproves you, which shows there were Roman centurions worshipping Jesus, coming to Jesus for healing.
I understand. You're missing. That's fine. But the point is that the people who named it that were not officially Christians.
Not officially.
They were Roman pagans. They were Roman pagans, Yaakov.
They wasn't, my friend. Honestly, they wasn't.
Yaakov, I think it's been proven since you've arrived on this app that you have many, many, many things to learn. Okay?
Why are you attacking me? I'm
not attacking you. Not attacking you. I'm correcting a historical point. I'm correcting a modest historical point.
Nathan's
learn from the mistake and repent.
Listen,
I'm just correcting a modest historical information.
If I could show and prove to you a Bible verse that was written before 70 AD, right, that Romans were worshipping this man called Jesus, that would disprove you, right?
No, it would not.
Yeah,
No, it would not. All it would, Yaakov, all it would prove is that there were Roman citizens who believed in Jesus. You made a different. Centurions are Roman citizens, Yaakov.
They're soldiers.
Yes, Roman citizens are soldiers. Yes.
Well, the centurion. It was one centurion at the cross.
Fine, but that's not the guy who named it. The guy who named the people who named the territory, Syria, Palestina, were not Christians.
No, they weren't Christians. Yeah, they weren't.
They weren't Christians.
No, they were.
It's just a modest historical point, Yaakov.
Yeah, Yaakov, but I will say this. During the time of Hadrian, Christianity was actually still illegal in the Roman Empire. It wasn't like
but they were still practicing it, right?
Well, yeah, but not on a state level. It was
Not even on any widespread level. Not even on any widespread level.
Yeah, during the Hadrian.
Yaakov, you're just wrong on the history, okay? And it's okay. That we won't give it to you.
You've read the New Testament.
In 313, he made it legal, and then in 380 or something is when it became
It
state.
became the national religion. But
Yes.
remember, Judaism was illegal, and we had to hide it for certain points. So it's a minute point you're bringing. You're bringing like.
Yes, it is a minute point, and that's what I said, Yaakov. It is a minute point, but you were incorrect on the minute point, so I was correcting you.
Yeah, what I'm saying, Hadrian was not a Christian.
From the Bible, which is these passages are written before 60 AD, so it'd be 300 years before you're disputing, right? That there were Romans, even Pontius Pilate.
You're gonna quote to me. Why do you want to quote to me the New Testament as the Bible?
Because it's historically accurate, not in the sense of Jesus is who he claimed to be, but
why do you think that this? Okay, so hold on, Nathan, Yaakov, you're incorrect on the history. Syria Palestina was named that long before Jesus. It was called Syria Palestina, and it wasn't Christians who named it.
So hang on. You're saying it was Palestine before? Well, how come it wasn't called Palestine in the Bible? Not once in the New Testament.
Because we don't call it that in the because
135.
Jesus Christ, dude.
It was named.
Hold on. It was named Syria, Palestina, 130 AD.
135, 136.
It was called that as a troll. It was a
No, but
fine. It was after Jesus.
To mock the Jews.
That's fine.
Correct.
It was to mock the Jews, and it wasn't because they were Christians.
No, it was.
It wasn't. The people who named it at the time of that revolt was not because. No, Yaakov, you are wrong.
So let's look at the New Testament and let's have a look, because Pontius Pilate says, Pontius didn't want to.
If you want to be a Jew, listen, Yaakov, you're looking for your Jewish identity. I would encourage you to not look for it in the New Testament.
No. I don't believe in the New Testament, but I'm using it as.
Well, then stop. Why? I don't know why you would do that.
Because it's after the Tanakh, so we can't use something that's after our book to show. Wait, we'd have to use whatever book is at that time.
Show me in the New Testament where that land is called Palestine by anyone.
It's not called Palestine.
There you go. It was named.
This is my point.
By the Romans. It was named by the Romans after the composition of the New Testament. So you can't use the New Testament as any proof for anything.
Hang on. How long?
You're just wrong on the history.
Wait, I have to go. Guys, just want to say, I have to go. I'm going to make Nathan the moderator.
Yeah, please.
Just after midnight here, I have to go to sleep. Thank you for joining the room. I'll open more rooms like that. Thank you for the civil discussion. And Nathan, you can moderate the room. You can continue.
Yeah, no worries. Just move me as moderator.
So
You gotta make me moderator.
let's push this forward a bit more, because you said it had nothing to do with Christians, right? It's called Palestine, right? You said that, right? So the Romans, and this is a well-known fact, there were many Romans that were practicing Christianity way before 300 AD, right? So
Yeah, but
my
it was
point is
underground,
clear, right? My point is clear. It didn't become the national Roman Empire's religion until like 300. I don't dispute that. But what I'm saying to you is there was many Roman Christians, many, and it's because that they believed at this point, because of the fathers, the church fathers, that were so anti-Semitic. Augustine, one of them, right? they would say that you killed our Messiah, you killed Jesus, right? So that's why they've done all these things. So it would be very dogmatic to say, whoa, you're wrong, you're right. It would be very disingenuous, and it would be very bad to our people, right, as Jews, to say otherwise.
But Yaakov, can I make a little bit of an interesting point here? Nothing has caused more suffering to the Jewish people than failed messianic movements. So I'll give you an example, right? Like Jesus, obviously that messianic movement, right? It was failed. But look at how many Jews were persecuted in the name of the cross. Look how many, how much suffering happened because of this failed messianic movement. Bar Chopka, right? When he went, he also was a messianic figure who had a bit of a movement. Rabbi Akiva thought he was a messiah at that time. He also failed. It was because of Bar Chopka that Hadrian went, and because of the revolt that he did, and renamed it Syria Palestina. Until this day, almost 2,000 years later, we're still dealing with the after effects of that failed messianic movement. How much suffering happened to the Jewish people because that name Palestine was attributed to that land. Same thing with Shabtai Tzvi. I don't know if you know the history of the Shabtai Tzvi, the Shabtian movement, but that ripped the Jewish world apart during the 1600s. In a wild way. Jews were then persecuted, but it ripped the Jewish world